Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Ali, Coram, and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, Wednesday, September 4th, where we saw a mixed day after Tuesday's rout, Ken. And as always, we've got a lot to get to.
Yes, indeed. I want to take a look at three stocks today, Ali. First of all, India-based MakeMyTrip. This is a India-based online travel firm, MMYT. Also want to take a look at a name that we haven't looked at recently, Tyler Technologies, TYL. And finally, DaVita operates kidney dialysis centers. DVA is the symbol there, and kind of holding right in a buy zone here.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, we'll get to those stocks, but first let's analyze the major indexes. The NASDAQ today down 0.3%, and the S&P 500 also slightly lower on the day, down 0.2%. The Russell 2000 also with a loss of about 0.1% or so. The Dow did finish in positive territory here, up about 0.1% on the day. So Ken, what's your assessment of the action? We had such a negative day on Tuesday that we kind of hung in there. It's not like we're seeing a repeat, at least as of yet, of what we saw in early August.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been worse. You know, when you get a big decline like we saw Tuesday, obviously it was kind of reminiscent of that decline that we saw back in early August. That came ahead of two more very sharp declines. So again today, after a big decline Tuesday, NASDAQ closed off its lows. It extended losses by a little bit, but not by much. And there was some decent action underneath the surface today. So extended losses, but like I said, after the intensity of yesterday's selling, no one would have been surprised to see some pretty serious follow-on selling. We got it a little bit, but overall a pretty quiet day.
And for now, we are holding above the low of the follow-through day on the 13th of August here for the NASDAQ, but definitely some repair work needed. The S&P 500, which we've been saying is in a bit of a stronger position still as of this moment, finding support around 5,500 and the 50-day line, Ken.
Yeah, this is an index where it's very easy to see the support here. The 50-day moving average is basically coincides with the with the 5,500 level. So S&P 500 really didn't give up much ground at all today, so it's still fighting a good fight here technically. I want to go back to the NASDAQ. One thing I wanted to mention that Justin mentioned earlier today on IBD Live is that, we did get a distribution day for the NASDAQ yesterday. You can see volume came in quite a bit higher than the prior session, but, we've now had four higher volume declines for the NASDAQ. I think it's over the past 8 trading sessions. So, you're getting distribution days starting to cluster here, and that's a kind of a subtle form of institutional selling. So it's just something to keep an eye on. Yesterday I know we were talking about being defensive and taking some partial profits and maybe raising a little bit of cash, and we did that with the leaderboard model portfolio. But the distribution is definitely more pronounced on the NASDAQ than it is the S&P 500, because we go back to the S&P 500 yesterday, even though it was a sharp decline, index held above 5,500, and volume was actually a little bit lower than the prior session. So I think we've only got one higher volume decline for the S&P 500. So distribution more pronounced on the NASDAQ. That probably stands to reason because tech stocks have generally been under a lot more pressure than many of these NYSE listed stocks on the S&P 500.
Let's also take a look at RSP, Ken. Your thoughts? What does this tell? Any sort of story? Maybe not today in particular, but the trend over the last couple of weeks?
I think it's still telling a story of underlying strength. So even though we're seeing increasing signs of distribution on the NASDAQ, the S&P equal weight ETF here is still just really pulling back mildly, holding near highs and holding support at the 10-day line. So this is reason for the bulls to be optimistic here. We're certainly cognizant of the increasing distribution we're seeing on the NASDAQ, but the SPY here and RSP is still looking quite strong.
And here's IWM, the ETF that represents the Russell 2000 Small Cap Index. Your thoughts on how small caps are faring?
Yeah, I mean they're holding up well. Obviously, you can see here IWM is holding at the 50-day moving average. We could see some volatility at the end of the week, particularly in small caps, depending on what interest rates do. We do have that jobs report coming on Friday. We did get a JOLTS survey. Job openings, labor turnover monthly survey, and that was indicative again of a softening jobs market. So what the Fed doesn't want is the job market to soften so much so that it puts the economy into a recession. So small caps will likely be volatile Friday. I don't think the market wants to see another or a second straight week jobs report. Hopefully, it'll be a number right in line, or maybe even just a little better than expected.
Yeah. Okay. And blue chips, the Dow managed to rise today fractionally, still holding above its 21-day line. So as of late, showing a little bit of outperformance here.
Yeah, yep. Dow Jones definitely one of the strongest indexes. The Nasdaq probably the weakest index at this point, but blue chips, performing very well in this market environment, just trading near, holding near highs and near short term above short term support levels.
Yeah, let's also check in on growth versus value. Here's the VUG ETF representing growth, and this looks a lot like QQQ to me here, Ken.
Yeah, it does, and it's not almost like the Nasdaq composite itself. You know that bad break of the 50-day moving average yesterday, and down a little more today. But just kind of showing you how the market's face has changed here. You're getting growth stocks starting to underperform, and then you've got the value stocks that I wanted to look at here, which is VTV. And they're again kind of looking like the Dow here, holding up near highs, holding above the 10-day moving average here. So, value definitely having the upper hand over growth at this
Mhm.
point.
So then what do you think growth investors should do in this kind of environment?
Well, for speaking from the leaderboard model portfolio that we've been managing for many years, we still have quite a few growth stocks. We don't have many tech stocks, but we still have quite a few growth stocks. So we're uh, still invested by about 85% long. So we're really not looking so much at technology as we are other areas of the market that have been acting very well, whether it's insurance, financials. Home builders have been strong, so there has been areas of strength in this market where there's been profit opportunities, but just realizing that you know paying attention to maybe the FANG stocks and many of your Magnificent Seven stocks may not be the best course of action at this point. Looking outside of technology and into areas of the market that are working nicely now.
Yeah, I mean, on IBD Live, we were talking about the financial sector, insurance stocks, REITs, some of these other defensive areas, utilities,
Utilities,
showing
yeah, yeah.
strength right now.
That's right. Yeah, David Ryan came on the show and he said, "Let's look through the Market Surge Growth 250," and so saw so many stocks in the Market Surge Growth 250 that are trading up near highs. Now, it's not a technology flavor by any means. You're seeing, like you
Mhm.
said, plenty of healthcare stocks, real estate investment trusts, insurance companies, some defense companies, utilities. So definitely a different picture of leadership. At this point, but it could be enough to keep this uptrend intact. I think the handwriting is on the wall, at least in terms of the distribution that we've seen recently on the Nasdaq. But again, plenty of areas of the market that are still working nicely.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, let's go to MMYT. This is an India-based travel booking firm. A nice upside reversal right at the 10-week line, Ken. And that's just the area that this stock likes to find support at as it's made its move higher.
Yeah, this has been on the leaderboard watch list for months, I think, and we were just kind of waiting for a good pullback. Now we got that break of the 50-day moving average yesterday with some volume, but what caught our attention today was the volume behind the rally back above the 50-day line. So a lot of times you'll see a stock dive through the 50-day moving average in heavy volume, and then it'll start to rally back in light volume and start to wedge higher. So really not showing a whole lot of strength, but at least with MakeMyTrip, you had very, very heavy volume to the upside today. Nice reclaiming of the 50-day moving average. We like the price action so much. We put this we moved it from the watch list to the leaders list today, and yeah, so we'll see how it goes. This has been a long time strong performer. Tremendous track record of earnings and revenue growth, and still a pretty compelling growth story in India as an online travel firm. So, like the entry today, we'll see how it goes here.
Okay, and next on the list, let's check in on TYL Tyler Technologies. A very orderly, narrow base here, Ken, with a depth of only 6%. Pretty incredible after an earnings report that sent the stock up, almost 10% on the day, with some follow-up buying behind that. So relative strength in spades here over the last couple of months.
Yeah, just again, this is a stock. It's an enterprise software company. You can see they do IT management services, but this is a stock that has responded two straight times to a good earnings report, a good outlook. Good outlook. So when you see a flat base form, you typically don't see a big pullback from high to low, but we do allow a flat base to correct up to 10 to 15% off the high. You mentioned Tyler's only about was a 6% pullback. So this is an exceptionally tight flat base. And if you look at the weekly chart, which just shows the weekly price performance here, you can really see that that tight trading exemplified. So relative strength line up near new high ground, really a classic flat base forming here. We'll put it on breakout watch and see if it can break out to new highs. It's gonna, it'll need a improving market conditions, to do that. We've talked about, tech in general being a little bit vulnerable here, but Tyler Technologies seems to be looking the other way and still showing a lot of relative strength here.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on this round number of 600, see if it can break out to that psychological round number.
Mhm.
Okay, lastly, let's check in on DVA. This is DaVita, finding support at the 21-day.
Didn't get a whole lot of volume when the stock broke out several weeks ago. It broke out basically over that 147.93 area. But this has been a very orderly pullback. I especially like on Friday when the stock fell in higher volume, but it closed off lows and held support right at the 21-day line here. And then the market was tough yesterday. DaVita, being in the healthcare space, maybe a kind of a defensive play here.
Right.
It rallied, had a nice day with the broad market yesterday, and then today just traded tightly. Nice little inside day. So this one's really showing a lot of support after the breakout. Obviously hasn't made a lot of progress from that 147.93 entry, but still a good looking technical setup here. And DaVita, obviously the leader in kidney dialysis centers across the U.S. So healthcare name that as money is generally rotating out of a lot of technology stocks, seeing a lot of strength in this group, and DaVita's still acting very well here.
That it is. All right. Well, thank you, Ken. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Special announcement for everyone before we wrap. If you're watching this live, you have another opportunity to get IBD Insights today live on YouTube. We are testing a special live version of our long-standing weekly podcast. A lot of IBD podcast fans out there usually watch the episode or listen to it when it drops Thursday mornings. But this week, we are going to be live at 5 p.m. Eastern. Justin Nielsen with guest Matt Caruso of Coram Russo Insights. So get that notification bell to get an alert when we go live at 5. Really looking forward to seeing our live audience there. And of course, if you don't watch it live, you can watch the recording at investors.com/videos, our YouTube channel, or if you like the audio version, you can listen to it like you usually do every week. So we're very excited about that and looking forward to seeing all of you there. That's it from us for today, and we'll be back here with more Stock Market Today tomorrow after the close.